Thank you for checking in on Saxofriends. I'm your host, Dave Saxologist. Today I have an exciting young multi-instrumentalist out of New York named Noel Haye. Noel, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I am hanging in there, brother. Thank you for asking, man. I really appreciate your time, man. I know you could be doing a lot of other things, and happy MLK Day to you, you know?
Yeah, same to you.
And so, are you in New York? Is that where you live at?
Yes, I'm in New York, Brooklyn to be exact.
Brooklyn. Okay, all right, man. A
Yeah,
lot of history, a lot of musical dynasties come from that area there, man.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I first got on to you a couple years ago, man, watching you do your covers on Facebook, man, and I've been following you, man. I said, you got a really nice sound, man, and you doing your thing, man. And so I wanted to ask you, first of all, how do you choose your covers, man, that you do? Because you play some amazing covers, man. How do you choose
Well,
those?
thank you. First of all, I appreciate that. The way I choose it is I go off feel. So I'm a big R&B fan. I'm a big fan of gospel music and jazz. But a lot of the covers that I've done, I had a tie to R&B music, like when I was younger. So a lot of the covers that I do are songs that I could resonate with when I was at a young age that I really love. And now, like listening to the instrumentation of the song, I actually enjoy how it sounds with a saxophone over it. So for me, it's mostly just going back in the bag of songs that I really enjoyed before I even took music seriously and just playing over those songs and, having my own ideas over it too. So not playing the melody fully, but yes, still not losing the melody, but also having the improvisation over it too.
All right, that's a good answer,
Yeah.
man. So I want to ask you, uh, first of all, when did you get started playing the music, and what was your first instrument?
Okay. Good question. My first one was piano. So piano, that's the first instrument I could recall. I have a picture of me playing, like just even touching one when I was probably like 6 years. Well, it had to be like 5 or 4 in that, well, 4 or 3 in that picture. Um, and I started like when I really dabbled in piano was when I was about 9 years old. That's the first time I ever touched an instrument. I took one piano lesson. Well, I took 3 piano lessons, and after that, kind of just stopped taking it for a while because it got too expensive. Um, and then after that, kind of took a break from music until like middle school. So middle school is when my brother and I, we went to a gifted and talented middle school. So I had to audition to get in there. So I chose piano to audition with because that was the only instrument I was really well versed in or had experience with. So I got into the school. This was in Brooklyn as well. And yeah, after that, I think, that school introduced me to music, like seeing other young kids my age that wanted to get into music too. And a lot of them were more experienced than me at that time. Now, a lot of them don't play. It's a very few select that still do, but I'm happy that my mom took that initiative to find that program for us and to get us in there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good, man. So did you come from a
yeah,
musical family? Anybody play instruments in your family?
yes. So my whole family plays music. My brothers, we have a band that we have now. Um, my parents have passed away, unfortunately,
I'm sorry to hear
but
that.
yeah. And my dad, he played the guitar. He passed away when I was like 3 years old. And my mom, she passed away 2 years, well, 3 years now. She played the piano. Yeah, and then my brother, my youngest brother, he plays the bass guitar and the electric guitar. And my middle brother, well, second brother, he plays the piano and the trumpet he used to play in middle school. And he plays the organ as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of music going on around the family with a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire and dramatics and all that stuff played back then? What was they playing, your family? What kind of music?
So my family was we kind of well, we were raised in the church. So it was a lot of gospel songs that we kind of started with. We didn't really get into the R&B stuff until like later on. So the R even jazz and stuff like that, we heard about it, but to really start playing it, it wasn't until our later years in our 20s. So I would say kind of late compared to a lot of other musicians, but gospel music was really the foundation of the household. That's what we really grew up on. And then listen to these gospel songs now from back in the time when we used to listen to them, it makes a lot more sense now because we're more musically inclined. But you know, our house was pretty much a music foundation all around. You know, there's not one day that it can be annoying sometimes, but there's not one day that a musical instrument is not being played.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So
So how many
yeah.
do you play? How many currently instruments do you play?
So right now, for now, I play just drums, piano, and sax. I'm looking forward to learn something with strings, so it's between violin and probably bass guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's music is just all in you. It's I can just hear it coming out of you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's
Oh,
it's there, brother. You know.
yeah. I would say, yeah, I would say that because it's something. If I always say if it's something that you really enjoy or passionate about, if you could do it for free and still love it, I think that is one of your callings. And I realize that music is something that I love to do. I get excited. I don't have to be getting paid for it neither. I get excited to just play music. Yeah.
I read that I would say that's pretty interesting. How did you end up in a drum line, man? Talk to me about being in a drum line, man.
Oh, the drum. Oh, that's interesting. That's
I saw,
yeah. That goes back. Yeah, that goes. That's the high school days.
yeah,
High school. So yeah, with that, well, watching the movie Drumline, I was like, yeah, this looks cool. I ideally wanted to be in a marching band all my life. So watching Nick Cannon and Drumline, I'm like, wow, I want to do those dance moves and everybody in the drum line was getting all the girls, stuff like that. So I was like, I want to hit a drum and make it make sense. So the way I got into the drum line initially, I always wanted to play saxophone before even drums. So my high school that I got into was also a gifted and talented school. It wasn't like a very top-notch school, but we made the school work for us. So the way I could say so I auditioned to get in the drum line. I thought I was gonna do saxophone, but I couldn't play saxophone until I was in my senior year. So drumline I joined when I was a freshman, I believe. So the drumline was a part of the marching band. So once I got in, I wanted to play the snare drum because that's what Nick Cannon played
right.
in the movie. But that was a limited position. It was either you knew how to play already, or you just couldn't have that opportunity out the gate. Um, So yeah, I started playing the tenor drum in the drum line. So it's still very essential because all the drums are important in the drum line, but I still got the experience of being in a marching band, got to see the girls, the cheerleaders, the other horn instruments, other drums I didn't even know about, other horns, and just the discipline too, the marching band, it gave us a lot of discipline because we had competitions that we had to compete in and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, that's how I got into the drum line, and then even I could say that was also a highlight of me getting further into another instrument, which was the sax. Like shortly, well, a couple years after that.
So when did you actually start playing the saxophone then?
So I started playing my senior year of high school. That's the first time I actually like touched one. And then after that, when I went to college, I didn't study music, but I joined a jazz ensemble and an orchestra. So, being one of the it wasn't a lot of African Americans at my school, especially in those organizations. But yeah, I just decided to, the class was already part of tuition, so I said, okay, let me just take this on the side, and yeah, that's how the journey has been continuing ever since. And then started playing in church, non-judgmental zone, and then it started going outside of that. So yeah.
Did you when you picked up the sax? Did you did you hear somebody play that caught your ear and just say, "Man, you know what? I want to do that."
Yeah, I would say Kenny G was the first sax player I've heard in my whole life. So hearing his tapes, well, hearing his audio, even when I was younger, before I even took music seriously, I used to hear his stuff on the radio. I'm like, wow, that's a sweet sound. And I never ideally thought I would take it seriously. That's what I would say. I kind of my first few years, I began enjoying it for what it was, and then as I started studying like Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, Johnny Hodges, Dexter Gordon, like a lot of these guys, I'm like, wow. And even watching like films, old films about music, I started to see how they took the craft like really seriously. Um, and I said, okay, like if you really want to be if you want to be a renowned sax player, this is what you have to do. There's no way around it, and I have a lot more work to do. Um, yeah, so just seeing those things and studying, like starting to study jazz now seriously, um, I think those are things that went into the framework.
So are you mostly self-taught then? 'Cause I know you played in high school, but after that you went to college, you didn't play. So did you take private lessons when you were in college or what?
So with that, I never really took private lessons. Like, no, yes, I did. So I took private lessons, not ongoing. It was like, okay, you pay for a lesson here and there, take what you get,
Right.
and then you try to implement that into your playing. But in college, I never really took lessons. All I did was just join ensembles, and that was like free. I would say that's like free lessons, and all inclusive, if you want to put it like that. Um, but yeah, the lessons were pretty expensive at the time. So most of the stuff I learned on YouTube or just transcribing some songs in my head or like listening to certain lines like Joe Albright, Kirk Whalum, those are guys I listen to a lot too. So just trying to transcribe a lot of those lines in my head and yeah, the rest, just putting my own flavor into it. But if ideally, if I had to, if a dream could come true, I would love to go to music school. It's just very expensive.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the only downside of it. But if things pan in that direction, I'm open for that.
So I was going to, that brings me to another question. I was going to ask you that because, there's two schools of thought on the music school. Some people say, yeah, go to Juilliard, go to Berkeley, do your thing, whatever. And other people say, hey, man, just cut your teeth. If you're good enough, you're good enough. So,
Right.
and, what you take, what you learn and you get in where you fit in, though. So what do you think
Exactly.
about that? I mean, it can be either way, school or no school. What's your thoughts on that?
I definitely agree with that. I feel like now, in terms of finances, I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think music school makes sense to start from the ground up. I think if you are a musician who has grasped a lot, whether that be playing in churches, just playing out at jam sessions, gigs, or with other great musicians, I think you could take the skills that you already have and just take private lessons to get more focus. Because you don't want to be scattered all over the place. You want to have a focused direction of what you're doing from somebody who has way more experience than you, and just take it from there. I think if you get a full scholarship, that's a different conversation.
Right, right.
But yeah, now I think in the music industry, it's about connections and just continue working at the craft. That's really what it is. But and then music school also breeds. I think a lot of people what they truly gain from going to music school is the connections and the discipline that's around you too. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Hey, do you teach yourself? Do you teach any students? You give any lessons?
So yes, I do. I usually have at least 1 to 2 students a year. Because I try not to put too much on my plate, but yeah, right now I have a student that I'm teaching, a high school student, and yeah, and then I do after school lessons sometimes.
All right. So did you
Mhm.
uh did you go heavy on theory in school? I mean, when you're doing the drumline thing, or how was that as far as how was the music program at your school as far as the whole thing, the instruments, the teaching? How would you rate your education coming up in the music department?
How can I put it? So it was different for every school. I believe my middle school was more serious with music. It was more of an art school, not just a music school. So there was arts, drama, vocals, uh, creative writing, keyboards, and then the band, and then they had like athletics. So every student in the school had to be in something. That's the only way you could get into the school by auditioning. So
Oh,
I think that school was more disciplined than my high school. My high school was more so it ideally that's not the high school I really wanted to go to because the other ones on my list I really wanted to go to those, but I guess everything happens for a reason. So the high school I got into, it was one of the choices I didn't really want to do, but as I said, I had to make the best of the music program there. And it's funny because a lot of people in the other talents at that school, that high school is also an art school like my middle school with drama, art, and all the different talents. A lot of people gravitated towards the marching band because you had people from other talents who loved the idea of music that would join the marching band too. They would come after school, do the rehearsals, and because the marching band was really what made the school, in my opinion. Um, the other talents, yes, but the marching band put the school on the map, in my opinion.
all right.
And,
So
and in my college was more so because I studied business at college, but it was the music program there wasn't like it was still very good, but it's a college unless it's a music school. They didn't really focus on music, but the music program there was pretty rigid. Yeah.
okay, that's all
Mhm.
right, man. So let me ask you, when did you play your first paid gig? No matter what amount it
Oh,
was, you the first time because once you start getting paid, you're a pro. When did you get your first paid
oh,
gig?
the first time you get paid, they're a pro. Okay, that's an interesting mindset. Um,
That's my theory.
uh, well, no, I agree with that. That's the in transit to being a pro. That's yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah. I would say if I can remember, it's probably in a church. I think it's probably in a church, or it was an engagement for someone who was getting engaged, if I can remember. But
Okay.
I remember one photo I still have up to this day of that had to be the first gig I ever got, like outside of church. I think it was an engagement gig for somebody who proposed to his girlfriend.
All right.
Yes.
What saxophone did you start out on? Alto or tenor or soprano?
Um, I started on alto. Yeah, the tenor I picked up. Ideally, a tenor is my favorite because it has a rich, warm sound.
Yeah.
But alto is ideally what they were starting people with in bands, so that's what I started on.
Did it come to you, the saxophone, did you struggle with it at all, or did it kind of like just seem like that's what you were made to do when you started on it?
I mean, for me, I think I don't know. Like, I don't want to I don't want to brag about it, but I feel like it was easy for me. Um, Especially like thinking back in high school when I stayed out because I stayed after school to do some playing too. Um, I just feel like once I hear the sound, I know how it's supposed to sound. Or yes, the technique is important. I didn't really have that skill coming out the gate, but I knew how I wanted it to sound and I knew how it should sound. Even in terms like for example, like vibrato. I would love using as most rookie players want to do. I would love using a vibrato just for everything.
Yeah.
So my teacher, who's still around, he would say, "You gotta stop using it like that. You gotta place it properly." So I never liked hearing that, but the older I got and the more years I experienced, I realized that what he said made sense because now as I listen to music, I'm listening to how they place the vibrato, where it is, and how the fall offs happen. And it's true up to this day. So But I think with saxophone, it was mostly yeah. I didn't really. It's something I didn't really think about. I just played how I felt. That's what I could say.
You know, it's funny you mentioned vibrato because you're right.
Mhm.
Vibrato is a very personable thing for sax players. You listen to Johnny Hodges or you listen to
Yeah,
Gerald Albright; those are way different vibratos. Or
yeah.
David
Mhm.
Sanborn, right? You know what I mean? So
Oh, oh yes,
yeah,
yeah, for
it,
sure.
it's all personal. Yeah,
Yeah, all those are three different types of players because
yeah,
you got Johnny Hodges with the subtoning,
you're right.
Dexter Gordon too, and
Yes,
then
yeah,
David Sanborn, and he has a bright, he kind of has like a bright tone to him, and then
right.
Gerald Albright is just he's just a different guy. Yeah,
Man,
yeah, he's all over. Yeah.
you know what? I tell you what, I'm impressed, man, with your knowledge, especially because a lot of younger cats, Johnny Hodges, all that, a lot of them don't really don't dwell with that. I mean, don't really get down with that.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
coming up as a sax player, those are some of the things that you kind of need to listen to. You don't have to emulate it, but you need to be aware, right? You need to be
Yeah,
aware of these guys. See?
definitely because that's a great point that you said too because a lot of I feel like a lot of players nowadays they don't really study the history of the instrument. But it also depends on how because some people they're not geared towards that. For me,
Right.
I believe that I like to learn the history of anything that I'm studying or doing. And these guys, the guys that are great, they study these guys too. Um, and these were the pioneers of that instrument, whatever instrument you studied. Those are the pioneers because there was nobody really before them.
Right.
So they're the ones who had to really figure it out and set the tone.
Yeah.
But studying them, you definitely, I think one, you appreciate music more, and you start to have a better understanding of the choices they made musically when you kind of understand the theory of it. And yeah, like how each player has a different style. Like Johnny Hodges is not the same as Coleman Hawkins.
Right.
Joe Henderson is not the same as Dexter Gordon. They're all very different. Yeah,
Very different. You're right, man. And all
yeah.
those guys were just great, man. So let's
Mhm.
talk gear, man. So I love gear, man. So let's talk
Oh, yeah.
horns, man. So what are you playing now, man? What is your setup on all your horns, man?
Now I use so for my alto I have a Selma Paris Super Action Series 2.
Okay.
That's the first professional horn I still have it to this day. I had it. The first one I ever played was a Selma Bundy 2. Um, yeah, so I had that. Then the ergonomics on it was my hands got bigger, so
Yeah.
I couldn't really play that anymore. But and then after that, I got the Summer Super Action Series 2, and I've had that up until now. I haven't changed my alto. I like other ones, but this one is like near and dear to me.
Uh-huh.
And then I have for my tenor, I use what is a Yamaha Yaw 62.
Okay.
Yeah, and then for the soprano, it's a Yamaha Yaw 475.
All right.
Yeah. So I use those are my three primary. I want more, but I could work with those for now.
Yeah. Now what
Yeah.
about mouthpieces? What mouthpiece on each one? What are you playing?
So my mouthpiece on the alto is what is that? I think it's a Van Doren. Yeah. So a
Okay.
Van Doren mouthpiece with a V16 ligature.
Right.
Yeah, and then reeds two and a half, three depending. And then tenor, I believe it's an auto link. No, tenor, no. Tenor, it's a Theowani. Um, no, sorry about that. I have a Theowani metal for the alto. The tenor has what is it, a Jody Jazz metal.
Okay. Which
Yeah.
one? DV?
DV7.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
one of those. That's a good piece, man. Yeah.
I like it a lot because tenor I don't really like that's personal preference. I really don't like the hard rubber ones. I feel like I enjoy hard rubber on my alto more. For the tenor, when it gets that punchy sound, I think the metal mouthpiece is good for that.
Are you using
Um,
the Durga? Is that Theo one? Is that the using the Durga? Or
yeah, I have the Durga.
Okay.
So alto, I have the Durga, which is I use it in certain situations. Like if I'm playing with a band and everybody's like the volume's all the way up.
Wow. Yeah.
I use the Durga to project. But me personally, I prefer the hard rubber on the alto because it gives me alto. I like a warm sound, but still kind of bright. The Durga is like it's gonna project over the top. If the mic is good and things like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Do you
and
experiment?
so
Do you experiment with mouthpieces, or you good with what you got?
yeah, I think now I stopped experimenting. Because when I first got into the gear, I wanted to try everything. So I started on a Maya 5, which most players start on.
Right.
And then I had a Ravna ligature. And then after that, I used to ask just random questions like, "Yo, what mouthpiece is good for this, for that?" But I feel like now I'm in a sweet spot where I'm good with the sound I want for now.
Okay.
Um, like I don't want to experiment to other things right now.
So what are you
Yeah,
practicing these days, man? And what's your practice schedule like?
my practice schedule. That's a good question. With legit practice, because I have two types of practice. I have practice for fun, just playing tunes
Right.
and just trying to transcribe, and then legit focus practice. That's like focusing on tone, articulation, long tones, scales, arpeggios, things like that. But now I try to implement at least. I don't practice every day like how I used to, but for the new year, I'm trying to do that more, because of time. But when I do have my focus practices, it focuses on just sound. That's primarily something that's very important to me, even though it's long winded. But I believe the sound of a sax player is very important. So I focus on that because the people, yeah, ideally, a lot of us, we want to do the long runs, the fast up and down scales. But I think sound is that's what people hear first. So I always had that initiative approach to it.
What is
Yeah.
what's your approach to altissimo? Do you use a lot of altissimo, or is that something you just occasionally use, or what?
So for me, I actually don't know how to do altissimo. Um, yeah, I don't know one note. But I told myself, yeah, right now it's not necessary for me. It sounds good on records. Like when I hear other guys do it, I'm like, wow, this is dope. But I know I can do it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like it's not a priority for me right now. But overtones and things like that, that's the gateway to get there.
Right.
But for this year, I would like to get at least one altissimo note.
At least that G, that G at
Yeah,
least.
at least the G. Yeah,
I can
at
get
least
it.
that one.
I can get it every now and then, but it's just every now and then though. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. That's tough for me too, but I'm not a pro either though, so I don't spend a lot of time with that. Yeah.
got you.
How
Yeah,
about circular
I think
breathing?
I think it's more of a with autism. I think it's more of well, from people I ask, it's more of like kind of hearing the note first before it comes. Because a lot of we think okay, it's like squeezing to get the right ligature, the right armature to
Right.
get it. Um, and then circular breathing. Yeah, that's something I haven't tapped into yet neither. Well, Kenny G inspired me to do that since he could hold a note.
Right.
I think he held it for 45 minutes or
Yeah. And
something
he's
like
got
that.
the record. Yeah, he's got the record. Yeah.
Yeah, this is that was just crazy.
That's insane.
But yeah, that's hard to imagine. But I, I see I see how circular breathing could be very beneficial. Yeah, if you know how to use it properly.
Yeah. Not for the trick
Mm.
part, but like when you get a long passage or something, you're almost about to run out of air. To me, that's when it would be great to use it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with that.
But not like Kenny. I went to see Kenny G a few months ago, and he still got his fastball. But the thing about the circular breathing, though, I would like to interview him one day. Kenny, I'm not really saying anything to discourage him, but I'm just saying you don't have to do 30 minutes of circular breathing, though. I'm just saying, though.
Nah, yeah, he just wants to be in the Guinness book.
Yeah,
That's what it was. Yeah.
But he's still
Oh,
doing it at the concert. What I'm saying, every song doesn't have to end with circular breathing, though. You know what I mean? It's
oh,
like
right.
it's like, okay, dude,
Yeah,
we know you can do it, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He wants to. Yeah, he said that's his signature.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw him. Yeah, that's which concert did you go to when you saw him?
I saw him in the Cerritos Performing Arts Center right here in California.
Oh, nice. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw him. He did. Where was this? In Jersey? Yeah, in Jersey. But this is like 2, 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
But he's a great
yeah,
player, though, isn't he, man? His
yeah,
sound, man, he can
yeah.
play.
He has.
You know.
Yeah, he has a staple sound. And it's more, and he's not doing too much. Like it's more of like you could feel. I think that's one player. Like when he plays, you could feel the music.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
it's unexplainable. Yeah, it's unexplainable.
Hey, let me ask you about your collab with the Wyclef, man. How'd you end up doing that, man? That was pretty cool, man.
Oh yeah. So that was actually a dope experience. It's funny because when we were in there, so the way we got it, so my brother he has a podcast with his friend. So his friend has like a lot of connections with other artists as well and their managers. So that's how we got to get that gig. So we were in his house in his studio, doing that. That's where that took place.
Wow.
Yeah. So
What type of guy is he, man? He seems like a real cool cat, man.
yeah, he's very cool. He's very down to earth and authentic.
Yeah.
The way he treated us was very authentic and respect, a lot of respect. He wasn't like bad towards us, and he was open to giving us the opportunities to play with him and even come back. Yeah, but it was a fun experience. Like I didn't really realize. Well, we didn't really realize it until for me when I reflect, I'm like, wow, that's really Wyclef Jean.
Yeah.
He's a legend. you
Yes.
know. But
Yes.
being there, you're in the moment, so you're not really. I think from the outside looking in, they're like, "Oh wow," but being there, you're in the moment, like, "Okay, we're doing this." But after, when you reflect, you're like, "Wow, like this, that was really Wyclef Jean." You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way he called. He said, "Sax man, sax man."
Oh yeah. That was one of the segments of the night. Yeah. So I had to get that one. Yeah.
Nice, man. Now, I
Yeah.
have to ask you also about the Kirk Whalum Pillow Talk Challenge, man. That was smooth too, bro. So what made you want to do that one too, man?
I appreciate that. So I love Kirk Whalum. He's on my top five sax players of all that I love to listen to,
List
just
them
because
off.
he has a sim. You say it again?
Since you said your five best, go ahead and list them off. Your five best players.
Oh,
'Cause that's one of my questions.
my
Mount
five.
Rushmore.
Oh, okay, my rush.
Yeah, your Mount. Since you already mentioned sax players, so let's do the Mount
All
Rushmore of sax players.
right, so this is gonna be the Mount Rushmore ones that are still alive.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I'm gonna go with this is in no particular order though. Gerald Albright, Kirk Whalum, Marcus Anderson. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I know Marcus
Yeah,
Anderson. Yeah.
I love it. I love his sound.
Thanks.
Do- Donald Hayes.
He's good. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Donald Hayes, and then you got damn, who would I put last? Uh, Dang, I'm gonna have to go with. Mm, I like Joshua Redmond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I like his sound. Yeah,
Hey man, you really
when it
know your
comes,
sax players, man.
yeah, I try to be well versed with that. There's still a lot more that I still figure out up to this day. But yeah, just because I feel like you shouldn't sound like one person,
Right.
but you should listen to different people. So I think that contributes to how your overall sound will sound.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree, man. I
yeah.
like Stanley Turntine, man. That's another one of my guys, man. Stanley T.
Oh,
Man.
Stanley Turntine.
Yeah, Stanley
Oh, I
Turntine.
gotta,
You're
I
not
gotta look
familiar
that.
with him?
No, I gotta look that one up.
Yeah, Stanley Turrentine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I gotta write
Sugar.
that one.
The song Sugar. Da
Um,
da 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 ba da 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 da.
okay,
Sugar. Stanley Turrentine. Yeah.
Stanley. Okay, I gotta
Yeah.
add that one.
You gotta say, you gotta
Okay.
add Stanley in there. What about John Clemmer?
No, I never heard of that
Put
one
down
either.
John Clemmer, Touch and
Okay.
Hush.
Okay. John Clemens. Okay.
Matter of fact, he's John Clemmer. He did 28 albums as a solo man. You as a solo artist, but he's great, man. But you,
Oh, 20. Yeah.
yeah,
That's a
you
lot.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so
Mm.
many sax players, man. We can't know all of them, man. But there's so many great ones. So yeah,
Yeah. There's a lot. Um, and they all have something different that they bring.
right.
Yeah. That's
Hey, so let me
and then
ask
my
you. I'm sorry. What? Let me ask you about. We're gonna go back for a second though. How was your 2025 musically, man? How did you achieve some of the goals that you set out in 2025?
so yeah for 2025. How can I put it? I'm more of a person like when people ask me what my goals are. Sometimes it gets me. Sometimes I don't believe in goals, but then sometimes I do.
Okay.
But I'm a person who says like I also believe in God, so it's I believe that once you are doing what you need to do and you believe that things will work out for you, then those opportunities just come your way. But um, for me, I didn't really. It was a lot of most of the experience I had. It was like wow, like it. It wasn't something that I expected, but I guess I was prepared for the right time. That's what the best way I could put it.
Okay.
Um, and then yeah, just I'm just trying to like do more collabs with others. Um, so I can incorporate other people with what I do too. So that's something that I'm trying to get into.
So who are some of the people that you've worked with outside of, the ones that I know of though? Some of the artists that you collaborated with in New York, even if they're not well known, but just give me some names of some people that you collaborated with.
But in 2025.
No, now.
Oh, now
In
okay.
period, just in
Um,
general. In general.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So our most recent artist, it was a Jamaican artist. His name is Diani.
Okay.
So we did a collab with him. It was like a live kind of like mini tiny desk thing that we
Uh-huh.
did. So that was our most recent one. And then Wyclef, that was before that. And then before that, I did some work with A Boogie before. Um, I did some work with Friday. That's another artist. He's more like in the R&B kind of realm.
Okay.
And who else? Um, yeah, that's from what I could. Well, and then some Haitian artists too. They're well known in Haiti. Um, so yeah, that's for now. That's what I could name.
All right.
And then I've done some other work with people on their albums, like just playing like inserts of like certain lines.
Okay.
Yeah,
You have any plans to do your own stuff? Plan on releasing anything or
yeah. So right now I actually have an EP that's out. I have and two singles. So my first single was a Christmas single,
okay.
and that was 2022. And then after that, I did an EP, another Christmas EP that came out 2024. And then before that, well, no, my most recent single was a song I wrote called Sweater Weather. So that's more so like because the first single I did in the EP were mostly like holiday. It was mostly tuned to the holidays. So
Okay.
I wanted to do something outside of Christmas. So I'm not considered a Christmas artist.
Right.
So I came up with the single. This was in the fall of last year. So this one is more about just love, being in love and having a significant other, So it's more vocals and sax in that one.
What is your process? What's your creative process for writing? How do you get in the lab and get your songs out?
So for writing, that's a good question. So for me, I'm mostly focused on the melody first. Well, I mean, I believe that having the track first is important. So, seeing what kind of feel you want out of the song, that's first. And then in terms of I haven't really wrote like that's a goal of mine. I would say like I want to write songs and write more melodies, but I do have certain melodies in my head. I record them, and then when I hear a track, I'm like, okay, I could fit this melody in there, and then move from, you take it in stages. Because the way a song develops, in my opinion, is more. It's not. Yeah, there's different pieces to it. You may come up with one line, you're like, no, this line sounds better, and then the dots start to connect after that.
Are you
Mhm.
an ear player when you first start out? Are you an ear player more than the page, or is it a combination?
Well, being in church, I'm definitely an ear player. I would say that, but I do love reading music too. I feel like it's good mental focus. Because I just recently I joined like a community band, so they're reading like college level music. So that's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy doing because it makes me understand. I get to figure out the music on paper, instead of just listening. So I think having a combination of both is good for the structure and the free will. Because I always told myself I don't want to be that artist that has to pull out a piece of paper to read music every single time. I believe that music is a feel. There's no right and wrong. Yes, there is a right and wrong way, but there's also not a right and wrong way because you play what you feel once you get the knowledge of how the instruments should sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
Mhm.
That's a good answer. Uh, how's the music scene in New York as far as the club? Do you play clubs there? You do the club scene there, or what? What do you do?
So here, well, it's a lot of musicians here. Um, yeah, so it's a lot, and I think it's even more. Like every year, is always more people. You always finding more musicians. But for me, I do a lot of private stuff. But I told myself I want to get out there more and do more public stuff, so I can meet other people and foster those connections. But um, yeah, New York is it's always something going on. There's never. It's like because you're from California.
Yeah, yes, uh-huh.
Right, right. So you know how it goes
Oh
over
yeah,
there too.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it's the same,
yeah.
it's the same kind of feel, just a different time zone.
That's true.
Yeah.
And the club scene and the clubs these days though, and is just from what I can understand from some of my friends that play, I mean, they just don't pay guys the way they should though. You know what I mean? Though,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Right.
So,
That's another thing too. Because yeah, if you come with a band, I've heard some like crazy stories of people getting underpaid.
yeah, man. So
Yeah,
what do you
and
think
then, and
about
these are
that,
like
man?
these are like fantastic. Like some of these artists are like professional. Like
Yes.
if I could convert them to people back in the day, I would put them on high pedestals. But
Yes.
I just think a lot of these event spaces they don't really respect the craft of some musicians. They're more focused on their business advancing, not realizing that the music is what fosters people to come into the place.
Yes.
So if people see a certain person on a lineup, they're more in tune to support your restaurant or whatever you got going on versus no live music. If somebody sees live music, that adds to yeah. I think you get more customers like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think a lot of these event owners, they probably they do take advantage of musicians saying, okay, they're not gonna deny this price, so
Right.
we're just gonna pay them this.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
unfortunate, but
yeah,
yeah,
that's just the way it is though, right? So
yeah, that's
and the record label. So what do you think about the streaming versus physical sales and all that good stuff now? The way the artists get paid.
so now I don't really have that's something I'm educating myself on
Uh-huh.
because for me, I don't really when I make music, I don't really make music to get paid. Like
Right.
I've I believe that people should enjoy music without a cost. That's how I think about it. But yes, when you get to a certain expertise, you should get paid for what you release because you put hard work into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm still educating myself on the music business and record charts, lineups, things like that. But for what I do see like billboards, people, I think you have to have a budget for marketing because a lot of that is how your marketing team is that's going to get you on the radio up the ranks. So I think I think that's from what I know. I'm not too versed in that topic. So
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
yeah. Mm.
So have you ever been to the NAM show out here in California?
Oh yeah, I've been to NAM. I was there. What was that? 2020? I think it
Okay.
was 2020 or 2019. I was there.
Did you enjoy the
Yeah,
experience?
yeah, I definitely did. I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
The only thing, is very loud in there. That's the only thing.
Very.
But yeah, it's a lot of connections and people that you see on, like, for me, people that I've seen online. I got to see them in person.
Yeah.
Stop by and just watch them in person. That was great.
Yeah.
Um, but I'll definitely go back. It's just in California, so
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
I gotta wait. I
Hey,
gotta wait till I make a trip out there.
I live a mile and a half from the convention center, so I know what you mean. If I didn't live
Oh, okay.
here,
That's
I wouldn't be going to that thing every year because I know, man, those hotels and the expenses, man, it gets up there, man. Yeah.
yeah. That's true. Yeah,
Like I said, I can just
yeah.
put a
So
backpack on
you
and
live
walk.
near Anaheim.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a mile and a half from there.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay, okay,
So
cool.
I'll
That's
be
good.
walking there Thursday morning. I'll be walking down to the NAM show. And
Oh, right. It is this. It's
yeah,
this
it starts
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Enjoy it. Enjoy that.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
That's
I do, man. I met a lot of people there, and I'm trying to, I met Kurt. Well, I met all those guys over there, but now that I'm doing the podcast, I would like to try to interview a few of them. So we'll see what happens. So, you know,
yeah. That yeah. Okay.
Gerald Albright. Last year Gerald Albright was there, and they were getting ready to do a Cannonball commercial, and I was standing next to him, and he was trying to put his mouthpiece on his neck, but he didn't have
Yeah.
no cork grease. He was like, "Anybody got any cork grease?" So I said,
Oh, see.
I was like, dang, this I would have had my cork grease right, but I didn't think about bringing no cork grease to the show.
Yeah, yeah. That
So we
well, now it's an essential. It's an
exactly,
essential to bring cornbread now.
exactly. I'm gonna have some this Thursday though. You best believe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't know who's gonna be in there. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, that was a trip though. But yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay.
So, are you a full time musician? Is this all you do now?
Yes, I would say that. Yeah, for now, and then I do like my lessons on the side and teaching on the side.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. Well, hey. So, do you have any way that people can get in touch with you? All your social medias and everything.
Yeah. So, for Spotify and Apple Music, is just type in my name. So that's Noel Haye, Haye, and then all my stuff will pop up on there. And then social media, it's Saxman Noel. That's my Instagram. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I have the band page on there too.
What
Yeah.
band are you
So the
playing
band,
with?
the band, well, it's me and my brothers, so it's called Hay Entertainment.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the band page.
How do you spell that again? What is
So it's Haye
Haye
and then underscore entertainment.
Entertainment? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys on YouTube?
No, not yet.
Not yet, but you gonna
Yeah.
get there though, right?
Yeah. That's it. Well, I have YouTube, but as a group, we don't have any videos on there yet.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you do Facebook lives and all that kind of stuff?
yeah. For me, I stopped doing the lives because, I mean, I do it like out of sometimes it's the season. Like if it's going into winter season, I know people want to hear some good music.
Yeah.
So I'll do it around that time, or if I want to get donations for like something I want to donate to, I'll say, okay, send me $1 or something like that if you come into the live. But when I first started, I used to do a lot of lives. Now I just don't do it a lot. Maybe like me setting up or something like that. But also, I don't want people to get into the rhythm of saying, okay, like we could just hear them on live all the time.
Right.
I believe that with an artist, there has to be that mystery portion as well. So you don't want to be too accessible. Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Hey, let me ask you about playing in front of people. When you first started playing in front of people, were you nervous, or did it come natural for you when you first performed in front of people? How was that?
That's a good question. For me, the first time I performed was in church. So I used to read off papers. Like I used to write my notes out and read off papers. But I used to shake because it's nerve wracking. You don't want to mess up.
Right.
Thinking about your brain is thinking about so many things in that moment. So yeah, I started there first, and I was pretty scared, but the people knew me, so
Yeah.
I think that's the best place to start. And then just started playing out more, and now I'm not scared going out. I just make sure I practice in advance what I need to practice, and that eases more the nerves.
And when you
Yeah,
get up there, it's just a nervous energy and nerves. That's two different things, all right. The nervous energy is like you're getting ready to kill it, but but you still gotta get your woo saw on before you step out, though, right? You're like,
yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because even when I look at for me, what's nerve wracking is looking at like them do the national. I haven't done a national anthem yet, but I think that's very nerve wracking. That's something that scares me because it's like you got it's pure silence. You on TV, and if you mess up, they ain't gonna never forget that. So that's when I see that. That's something I'm like, wow. I don't know how they do it, but
yeah, yeah. I'm
one
with
day,
you on that one, brother.
yeah, yeah, that one's different. Yeah.
What kind of hobbies do you have, man?
So for hobbies, I like to because yeah, I don't like doing music all the time. So I like to explore. I like traveling a lot. I like art, like sculptures and painting. I like stuff like that. Um, I like learning new languages. Reading. I like to read a lot. And yeah, video games. I think it's good, for the mind. I like that.
All right.
And yeah, just yeah, stuff like that. And technology. I like learning about technology too.
All
Yeah,
right. Well,
and cooking. I'm also I'm a chef, so
what?
yeah, yeah. I like that's. I forgot to name that one.
Well,
Yeah,
you cook like that?
I,
You got it like that?
So it's funny because I wanted to be a chef before I even went into music, but so I'm now tapping back into that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Young,
I cook and bake.
young, single, and handsome, and cooking too. So I know, hey, you bring him over there and say, babe, look here, I whip something up. We ain't got to go to Maestro's, right?
Yeah, nah, save some money tonight. That's it.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's yeah,
Hey, Noel, I tell you, brother, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate you, man, and
no problem. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
much
Yeah,
continued success, brother. Keep doing your thing, man. Like I said, I love your covers. I love your wedding footage and stuff that you put out, man. Keep doing that, man.
yeah,
You
thank
know,
you. Yeah, appreciate that.
and
Yeah,
you know what? And a record label is going to come your way. If it doesn't, your independence is still going to get out there. You're going to get some music out there, and when you do, let me know, brother. Keep in touch because
well, for
I want to
sure.
see you grow, man. You
But
know.
I appreciate that, man. And you're also the first person to give me this opportunity.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, yeah, to do an interview. Yeah, that's so. I appreciate that.
Well, you know what? I'm so glad that I could do that for you because you're a wonderful young man, and just keep doing what you're doing, brother. Your
Yeah,
parents,
much.
your parents, I know they did cease, but they did a great job with you, brother.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. I appreciate that.
All
Yeah.
right, man. Well, you have a good one, okay?
You too, man. Have a good week.
Take care, brother. All right. I'll be at NAM, so I'll post something and
All
I'll
right.
hit you up, man, okay?
Well, yeah. Just make sure you bring the core grease.
That's it. I'm definitely gonna bring
Yeah,
that. All
yeah.
right.
That's right, right.
All right, Noah. Take care,
Uh,
brother. Hey,
I
ladies and
enjoy,
gentlemen,
man.
thank you all for joining me on Sax with Friends. It's your boy Dave Saxologist. Keep checking out my man Noel Haye. Great young man. He plays his butt off. Check him out. You guys take care. Later.